artists have always really loved to paint animals of all different sorts, like wild animals, like illustrations, cataloging animals and all that. But also artists love their pets. Like this is Lucian Freud with his whippets, and he painted those a lot because we love the pets. George O'Keeffe had her chow dogs. I can't remember their names, but she was a member of the Chow Chow Club. David Hockney famously did his wiener dogs. So many different paintings of them. I mean, what great things to paint though with their long, their long bodies and their, sweet little faces. Picasso famously loved his wiener dogs as well. But these are great. These are part of his series that he did of wild animals, also of other animals, where he used one line to create them. And they're like some of my favorite artworks of all time, just these one-line animals, which is such a great exercise and super hard. And he went on, obviously, to do more complicated animals paintings. But there's a long history of it. Like there's the naming of the animals and mosaics and popular paintings of more recent time. I mean, Titian had little puppies on it. I mean, animals are everywhere. I love that spider painting and birds, and wild animals that create some sort of like magical. I think this is Da Vinci and Delacroix. I mean, all the greats painted animals because they're such great things to paint because of the form and the color and the challenge of getting the fur right and the challenge of capturing a wild animal in this way. So really every great artist has done animals, and that means you're going to do that too. And so you have a couple of approaches. If you've noticed while we're watching, there's the realism like Audubon. You can try and really capture some animal, either a pet of yours, a wild animal that you love, the animal you relate to, and put it in a natural environment, or you can stylize it. I love these paintings, these very stylized palettes, very Art Deco kind of vibe. Frida Kahlo always had animals in hers, but they were symbolic. They placed her in almost like a different realm, like the same way Snow White did with all of her animals. Winslow Homer always captured his animals at the moment of death or in a moment about to kill. So very tense-filled moments he liked to capture. Oscar Howe captured his animals in motion, buffaloes and horses, and eagles, also filled with symbolism from his Native American culture. Milton Avery is a great simple, it's just proof of how simple you can paint an animal and have it be such a dynamic painting. Walton Ford is contemporary. These are massive, entire giant walls full, and they're highly done in this almost fantastical realm of what's real and what's not. Charlie Harper you could consider doing as a stylized illustrative kind of painting of animals. Alex Colville is almost I always feel like this is surrealist kind of painting of animals. He's always had dogs in his house. Barnaby Furness did Jonah and the Whale. It's Jonah, right? Yeah, no. This is a biblical story. Karen Kilnick, we are more familiar with her portraits, but she did many wonderful dog and cat paintings that are just so gorgeous. Rose Wiley, these are also just massive, hyper simplified animals, which might be fun for some of you to play with. Look at those birds. Hernan Boss always has symbolic animals, a lot of flamingos and snakes. One of my all-time favorite artists currently is Summer Wheat. These are huge. They look like kind of tapestries because the way she paints. Maroko Machiko, I also love. Lots of animals where they're almost embedded in patterns. They become part of a pattern, almost a design, but they're camouflaged often, this repeated small strokes. Ed Ruscha did a whole bunch of silhouettes. Maybe you want to try an animal silhouette. These might be screen prints. I cannot remember right now. As I'm looking at them, I think they're screen prints, but I don't think the birds are. But yeah, and so animals can get a bad rap of painting them because you can make them really fade and really simple. What we are going to do is bring in an image of an animal. It can be a pet. It can be an animal that isn't in your world that we're kind of looking at. Venice and IKEA and, you know, Tulum or whatever those places. Maybe there's a creature that lives there. But then we're going to have a little twist. I'm going to give you a palette you have to use no matter what that creature is. So yeah, I'm going to give you the palette. You're going to bring in the animal. Okay, see you tomorrow.